Hello, everyone. My name is Jillian Graves, and today I'll be discussing two important parts of Arizona's Constitution that gives power directly to the people: the initiative and a referendum. These processes are central to Arizona's tradition of direct democracy and show how citizens can play an active role in shaping laws. Arizona has one of the most active initiatives and referendum systems in the country, according to Arizona State Secretary of State. And many of the state's major laws on education, healthcare, workers' rights have been shaped through these tools. It is important to understand that these processes were included in the state's constitution when Arizona became a state in 1912. At the time, the progressive movement was strong, and leaders believed that citizens, not just politicians, should be trusted to make major decisions. This philosophy has continued throughout Arizona's history, which is why initiatives and referendums are often used today. Now, let's discuss the definitions of the both terms. An initiative is the process where citizens propose new laws or constitutional amendments by collecting signatures and placing a proposal on the ballot. A well known example is Proposition 202 in 2006 when voters approved a minimum wage increase. Initiatives can cover a wide range of issues, including education, health, environmental protection, and taxation. They are a tool for citizens who feel lawmakers are not addressing their concerns quickly enough. On the other hand, a referendum gives citizens the power to approve or reject laws that have already passed by the legislature. In 1996, voters used the referendum to overturn a law that restricted bilingual education programs. Referendums are often viewed as a people's veto since they allow citizens to block laws that go into effect. This makes them especially powerful in holding legislature accountable to the people. Now, let's talk about how they're created. Both initiatives and referendum begin with petitions. For an initiative, citizens draft a proposal, submit it for review, then gather signatures. If enough valid signatures are collected, the initiative is placed on the ballot for voters to decide. The process can take months of ongoing and organizing and fundraising because thousands of signatures must be collected within a limited time frame. For a referendum, opponents of a law passed by the legislature gather signatures within a specific time frame. If successful, the law is suspended until voters make the final decision. This happened in 2022 when voters rejected an income tax law through the referendum process. What makes the referendum unique is that it requires quick action by citizens because the law automatically takes effect unless enough signatures are collected in time. This urgency makes the referendum a fast moving form of democracy in action. Now, to compare the two, although both processes give citizens a direct voice, their purposes differ. The initiative is proactive, which allows citizens to create laws or constitutional changes when the legislature does not address certain issues. Arizona medical marijuana law in 2010 came about this way. Initiatives are often driven by grassroots campaigns but can also attract national attention as groups from outside Arizona sometimes get involved to support or oppose a ballot measure. The referendum, on the other hand, is reactive, serving as a check when citizens believe that legislature has gone too far. In 2018, voters rejected a law that would have made it harder to pass citizen initiatives, showing how the referendum can protect the people's power. According to the Arizona Secretary of State, unlike initiatives, which takes time to develop, referendums often happen quickly because they are responded to laws recently passed by the legislators. Together, the two processes balances citizen power. One pushes for change, while the other one blocks unwanted change. Now, these processes each have strengths and challenges. Initiatives empower citizens to act when lawmakers are unresponsive, and they promote civic engagement. Proposition 207 in 2020, which legalized recreational marijuana after legislative inaction, illustrates this power. They also give citizens a sense of ownership over laws, since people themselves decide the outcome. Still, initiatives can oversimplify complex issues, and campaigns are often dominated by groups with money to gather signatures and advertise. Critics argue that sometimes voters may support or oppose measures without fully understanding the details, which can lead to legal challenges or unintended effects after the law passes. Referendums hold law Referendums hold lawmakers accountable and allow the public to weigh in on controversial issues. In 2002, voters used the referendum process to block laws they viewed as overreaching in areas such as elections and taxes. This power strengthens trust in democracy because people know that they have the final say. However, referendums can also slow down government decision making, especially if urgent reforms are delayed. In addition, not all voters have the time or resources to fully study the laws they are voting on, which means some decisions may be made based on campaign advertising more than facts. Now, there's a connection to direct democracy. These processes embodies the principle of direct democracy, which set out in the Arizona Constitution. Rather than relying only on elected representatives, citizens themselves can shape laws and policies. From its founding in 1912, Arizona's system reflected progressive era values that emphasizes citizen control over government. That legacy continues today, with Arizona voters deciding major questions on taxes, health care, and education through ballot measures. Direct democracy ensures that people remain active participants in government, not just during election season, but throughout the lawmaking processes. By allowing citizens to introduce, approve, or reject laws, Arizona has created a system that where the public's role is ongoing and meaningful. These two remind lawmakers that ultimate authority rests with the people, which strengthens democracy, the democratic accountability. So, to summarize everything, the initiative and the referendum are vital tools of direct democracy in Arizona. The initiative allows citizens to propose new laws, while referendum gives them the power to accept or reject laws passed by the legislature. Together, they ensure that citizens are not passive observers but active shapers in the state's future.